kind of laser focused on that. So, yeah.
On that order.
Yeah.
So this would be the addition. And that's
Howdy.
too.
Hey.
This- The materials might be different because, you know, you don't have a lot of expansion to do.
No, you're there. You're there.
I think that'll work.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I mean, what are
Okay.
you gonna do? You can't live in a barn.
No, exactly. You know, if you can't be somewhat flexible, eventually that house will be torn down. That's the way I look at it. I mean, you have to have, you know, you have to be reasonable.
Right.
Yeah.
Roll call.
Bridget Kelch, Joe McGowan,
Here.
Ryan Bogue,
Here.
Rick Hop, Anna Fitzgerald, Andrew Clary,
Here.
Marlon Heidman,
Yes, here.
Becky Pate, Chad Briggs,
Here.
Mark Hydrich, Aaron Beckman.
Here. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, do I have I needed a motion for approval of the minutes last month.
I'll motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? New business, 600 West Front Street, design review. Is there somebody there from here? Hey, Ben?
How are we doing? Ben Ziegler, Ziegler Signs. There we go. So, I mean, I guess it goes back to, I kind of got thrown into this thing last minute, but I'm here, we're wanting to propose to reuse the existing Elijah McLean sign that's in that picture. That's from, I guess, whenever Elijah's was established, which I don't even know the date of that. It's been in the basement the whole time, and he brought it to us, and I kind of like to, you know, the old sign kind of thing, reuse, repurpose, and it's original from what it was. So we want to get rid of the gate, mount some structure there, and then do also a routed aluminum face that does have the logo up there that is lit. And I know downtown, the whole lighting aspect of it, and you know, I get it. You know, I mean, I appreciate downtown Washington, and I've been in the business of 30 years and have seen so much, but there is a time and place for everything. Some signs look great, non-lit with cast lights on them, but their location, where they are, all the way down Front Street, they need something. They have nothing right now, nothing but word of mouth, and he's struggling. And he even said, I mean, you know, signage is important. We were trying to do the column thing where they had some stuff, but that, come to find out, it's not even on his property. So to reuse this entrance that he cleared out that was there, to give them some kind of exposure is, I mean, it's vital to his business. And with technology now, we can control the color of the lighting, we can control the temperature, we can dim it, we can do lots of stuff. So the brown original sign, we lit it up. I mean, it's going to be lit, but it's more or less, it's not super bright by any means, just because of the process. It was all back sprayed, but the logo would be lit, but it's not like a lighted cabinet. Just each individual letter has some backlit. I mean, per code, I could put reflective on there and do the same thing, but that kind of is pretty tacky, you know, as far as it is. But you're not going to see it from 2 blocks down the road. And I think that's the key, is just letting people know and trying to find it too. I mean, people that come from out of town, they can't, you know, see where it's at, and they can't put any signs on the columns down there. So what else does he do? You know, so that's kind of our hardship to this, and I know that he is anxious because this has been going on for months and months to try to get him signage. So
How close to the wall is this? Is it perpendicular to the street?
yeah, well, on the corner, it's only single-sided, so it's only facing
Towards downtown?
towards downtown.
East, yeah, be facing east.
Okay.
So there won't be anything on the backside, Ben? Okay.
You really don't see it with that hillside that's there. I mean, it's not a great location, but it's all he's got, you know, I mean.
Yeah.
we could do something up in the yard and something like that, but without it being lit, it's, you know, plus it's the way that they got that new parking lot stuff, it's just hard to see with the trees there, so. And this is, it's also cost, you know, getting power to it. There's actually power ran to that sign now from who knows when. So, you know, and the framework you see, that's just a representation. It's gonna be a little nicer. That's pretty boring in my opinion, but that was a concept. I'd like to put some kind of, you know, black iron look to it, some of the old school stuff, because like I said, downtown, I was just talking to Rick Kopp on the way here, and, you know, I want to see it. It looks so amazing right now, and I want to keep it that way. I don't want no billboard and stuff, but neon has its place in downtown. It always has. You know, the bank signs have been lit. The old Bank of Washington sign, we retroed that one. The old Modern Auto, they moved, but that was, you know, to repurpose some of this old stuff is cool. And that's really, if it didn't have this old sign, I probably wouldn't be standing here right now. But I really want to put that sign up. That was the first sign that shocked me in the sign industry, when it was up on the hill.
So the Elijah McLean's will be lit from the ground, or?
No, it'll be backlit. It is a backlit sign. It's
Oh, the Elijah McLean's is
Yeah.
backlit already?
Yeah, it's already
It was
backlit.
on the building, or wasn't it
In
hanging?
the yard, like on the corner down real close to.
Before they built that retaining wall, I think I remember
Yeah,
when that was there.
I can
used to
pull
be
it up.
here. Like I said, they asked me to survey it. I mean, we're talking 30 years ago, and it shocked the crap out of me. My first-
So how old is that sign, do you know? Do you
Well,
have any
I-
idea?
It's funny.
I mean, we
because-
talking 50 years or 100 years?
No.
It's not 100, but I mean, is it
100.
30,
See, there's
50?
what- it's over 30, because I was, you know, when Admiral Sign, or General Sign built that,
Yeah.
General Sign was around in the 60s to the mid-80s. They were out of business before the 90s, so I'm guessing that sign is 70s.
It was there when I was a kid, because I remember
Is that
seeing
there
it.
right now?
No, no, uh-uh.
Okay, so that was taken down at some point.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
and that was taken down, and that sign has been in the basement for, I don't know who took it down.
Tony McQuarrie, when he reopened, I was
Yeah.
there, when he reopened Elijah's, he took it down, and they were gonna, actually Bill was gonna do another sign, and he decided to sell it, and it was gonna be a backlit sign. So anyway, that's,
We've had over the years probably 2 or 3 concepts of signs
Yeah, I
for that
remember.
property. And it really, because of the hotel, I mean, it really, in my opinion, it should have one centralized sign, larger, tastefully, to have the restaurant, the club, the hotel. But, I mean, doesn't say the hotel down the road changes hands if somebody else wants to do something. I mean, it's a tricky spot because of the redevelopment of it. But
Don't the historic district guidelines, I mean, again, we can't make anybody do anything, but those guidelines say that it has to be front lit. It can't be,
Well, I guess you're correct that our design guidelines do say that, but additionally, in the sign code, and this is what we were discussing a couple months ago when that gas station came up on Fifth Street, and we're going to scramble about that. But what staff found after the fact was backlit and internally lit cabinet signs, such as this one, are not permitted in the design review area, any historic district, or any designated landmark. And so what that means is Mongiabella, they've applied for a variance with the Board of Adjustment for approval of this sign. This board obviously has the power to approve. Say, hey, we've looked at it with this generally meets our guidelines, but they need a variance from our sign code as well, in addition to approval from this board. So, and that Board of Adjustment meeting will be next week to get approval to make that sign backlit as they're requesting. So,
and that's another thing we say front lit. In our glossary terminology in the sign industry, front lit is also considered a backlit because it's lit from the front of the letter. So, I mean, cast lighting is what you're referring to as ground lit.
Thank you.
To light that in cast lighting, to get a nice looking, you're gonna have a pretty big beam of light going on that thing, and it's gonna be, I mean, to me, this is not a point for that. I mean, I'm all about it. There's some signs where I'll say, customer wants a lighted sign, it's like, that'll look better with goosenecks or something like that, but the readability, the size to get down the road on Front Street it really just needs to be clean and simple. And,
What is the top? Is the top you said neon?
No, the top is pretty much kind of like what 513. It's all solid aluminum, so the black does not light. All that would light up was the name, Magna Bellas, and that's all that would light up. The border won't light up, just the name. And like I said, we can control the intensity of that. We can control the lumens. We can control the color. I mean, we control everything. And the biggest thing is it just needs to be. And like I said, the Elijah's, we lit the Elijah sign up and took pictures of it, and it's old looking, you know. I mean, that's the whole thing, is I'm not trying to redo the face. I'll put new lighting in it because it had fluorescence in it, but it looks good. I mean, I wouldn't build it that way, but because of the historic of it, I want to leave it just the way it is, because it's a little rough looking. It's got some stuff, but it'll look very cool to have the original sign up.
And unfortunately for Montebello people, because I still work there and I've worked there since they reopened years ago, they just cannot find that restaurant. They need signage so bad.
Yeah, if you're coming from out of town, I mean, you can try Google, but you don't know how many times people drive right by it. And the bad thing is, if they come from the other way, which he says most people don't, you would never know.
Right.
You drive all the way down into downtown, and then, oh, look, there's another restaurant. I mean, we deal with this all day long everywhere across the nation. And, you know, the sign codes, you know, we just had our big expo in Orlando last week, and, you know, sign codes are huge. You know, many, many, many years ago, Darren and I worked with redoing the sign codes because they were so outdated. And, you know, somewhere in the range, this has changed where it's, I get it, but, you know, it also is about, you know, the people too. I mean, the whole total access, or not total access, that was not me, and that is horrible. Just because the code allows doesn't mean you should do it. And that was a big eyesore to this town, and I'll speak my opinion on it. It's horrible, but that was a political thing between, and I just don't want to get into it, but that was not good, and that really hurt our industry, so to say, and I don't like that. But I also look at some signs downtown that are very blah. That's not, I don't like that either. You know, I want to see, I mean, it only costs so much to do something. It doesn't have to be a rectangle. It can have a shape. It can have something, a little decorative bracket. That looks so much nicer in a downtown historic district than just a flat swinging sign. And once again, I'll speak my opinion. But to me, that all goes with it. And sometimes, like I said, I mean, the channel letters that used to have H&R Block, hated it. That did not fit that criteria, and I'm glad, but there's certain things that's what variances are for, and that's what things are for. But this particular one, because of the old sign, it kind of means a little bit, and I just want to see them have success, so.
Well, I would like to say that one thing I do appreciate about this presentation is that you said earlier, you know, central signage, and I think that that lends to aesthetically a more pleasing look and also a more historic feel, because I have seen businesses downtown that have so much signage, you don't know what you're looking at, you know, and it really takes away from the beauty of the historic building, in my opinion. So this, to me, it just looks pleasing because you're staying with a central signage for a very good reason. You're not trying to overwhelm with signs.
Thank you. And to our company, we look at the aesthetics of the building and try to match the architectural with the signs, and sometimes it costs a little bit more, but sometimes people see that, you know, and like I said, there's times where I've just gritted my teeth as like, man, this is just rough. But I know some other people that are possibly looking at downtown that will be standing right back up here. So it's gonna happen. I mean, people, especially in the restaurant bar district, some have not, some. I would rather see a nice classy sign on the building than 10 beer signs in the windows, to my opinion, for a downtown thing. I mean, it's got a place and thing, but, you know, especially, you know, when we did the taco sign on the old neon, you know, it's like, this needs to go back. You know, this is a perfect example for an old, cool marquee type, like Blackman's and like the stuff is, sometimes it's fun to do that type of thing, but the way it's written right now, we can't. And if you go back in the little book of Washington, every sign was probably neon. or lit of some sort.
At some
And
point.
Neon signs are, just to be clear, neon signs are permitted by our sign code. The only type of signs that are not allowed, that relate to this board, and keeping the historic character of downtown are internally or backlit signs such as Mangiabella or electronic signs. So like, LED signs
So if I
displaying
lit that with
messages.
neon, it'd be legal?
Yeah, it would.
See, then that defeats the purpose of our code, because it's internal lighting, it's still an internally lit sign. If we lit that with neon, nobody does.
Oh, yeah, well, yes.
Well, it'll still be a
Yes,
cabinet.
it's yeah, the cabinet is kind of the key here, I guess. Yeah, thank you.
Well, so if you did
knew
that
exactly
sign,
what I was
if you did
thinking
that
about.
sign and I did everything exposed neon lit from the front, that thing would be intense. And if that's
bet
the
it would.
code, I mean, we could do that, but that defeats what we're standing up here talking about.
Sure.
Well, I
I
think,
don't want to do that because A, it's going to be super bright, almost too bright. The font is very difficult, which can be done, but that's not the look. That's not the classy look of a higher-end restaurant versus a big exposed neon. I mean, I could put neon border around all that, and I can make that a big neon sign, but you're not going to like it. And I don't want to do that just because the code says. That's classy, that's clean, that's controlled. And, I'm looking out for the benefit, but they need some exposure, and that's the most important thing.
I know I'm not a voting member, but if we can get a neon sign in our code, and this is what he's proposing, I think we'd much rather have this than a neon sign.
well, everything is subject to review, so if it had like palm trees and flamingos on it, I don't know how that would go. But, so it's tough, right, because you gotta strike a balance. I love the old sign, so part of what we do is, and acknowledges preserving old history. Again, I'm old, but maybe not that old, but I remember that sign being there when I was a kid, and again, there's precedent that it was there in the probably 70s and 80s, and when neon signs were so popular in the 60s and 70s, that was new technology, and a building from 1900 wasn't that old, 60, 70 years ago.
Also, now neon is not so much neon, it's LED neon. It looks like neon, but it's not, it's LED.
Yeah.
So there's the whole terminology of not LED, so it's conversation that needs to be probably looked at in the code to clarify, because the gray areas of some of this stuff, and we see this code across the United States. I mean, we've helped, and ISA will help review sign codes to help, there has been laws changed over the years, certain suits that cities have basically said, oh, you can't have that. Well, of course, the world we live in say, well, that's against my rights to do this, and there's been a Supreme Court case that was passed that basically almost made every single sign code across the United States illegal, which they worked through that, but it was based upon what people can say on a sign, and colors and different things. It's like, either way, it's political. But the biggest thing is, every sign is different, and every situation, it's hard to kind of put that into one bucket sometimes, and that's what variances are for, and we do variances all the time. And it's got to have a need, not a want, and this is a need,
Well, so what can we do? Aaron, are you asking us to give us a yay or nay, or should we do anything until we even get the variance?
Frankly, I think what I would like from this board is, I would say go ahead and approve the certificate of review, and if you have any specific concerns, about, or not concerns, I would say comments, about the sign related to the design guidelines, thoughts that you have, I think that would be very informative to the Board of Adjustment, because a lot of folks on that board maybe don't have the experience with our design guidelines. So I think specific comments would be very helpful, just about how this board feels about the sign and whatnot. So.
I mean, I'll go first because I feel like that's the easiest sometime. But Joe, if you've got something.
Well, yeah, I mean, I like the sign, but, I mean, it doesn't conform to the ordinance, but I like it for a couple reasons. One, you're bringing in the old, and I don't know how old it is, let's just call it 30 years old, the old Elijah McClain sign. And even though it's a panel sign, it's not a panel sign where the whole thing's lit.
It is, but with the dark brown, it's not gonna.
Yeah,
illuminate very well.
it's
Yellow's
like you
not-
said, the total access one, that's the one that's the worst in town. And when that went up, I was like,
I was.
what's going on here?
I mean, that is.
How did they get such a big sign, first of all, I thought,
That
but.
was
was a
because
faux
of the way
pas.
So-
the code was written, and the
Yeah.
other thing too is the code in different situations, you know, I know the 147 corridor. The thing that I would like to talk about with you guys, and we've already spread, you know, planted the seed with the council, is that Front Street district, because it is more of a bar restaurant district, is, let's look at that a little bit different
Yeah.
compared to like Main Street on above in the more historic towns, because, you know, you have the river, you have the riverfront, you have the trains. I mean, when people get off, I'm hungry, where do I go? Boom, you know, you see so-and-so restaurant.
It's
Some of
tricky
the-
though, because there's so much residential right there too, so,
I talked to
so
Rick
those
about that
people are
as
just
well.
like, I
The
don't
thing
like that
about
big man
that, though,
sign.
is you're looking this way, it's not gonna affect anything.
Oh, I know,
But it is, I mean, there needs to be an ordinance on exhaust, I guess, was Rick was saying.
Oh,
These
amen to
things.
that. Amen to
Because-
that.
And
That's
I,
more
and I
of a-
get it, and I
more of a
just, I wanna balance it out, because I have a feeling there's another place that's available, and there's other things that are possibly coming, and these, I don't wanna say franchises, but these businesses that have locations all over. I mean, I've seen companies pull out just because they can't have a sign the way that their corporate entity is.
Yeah.
And you don't wanna, I mean, I don't wanna see that happen. You know, you were talking about the Chipotle thing, that's funny. We just got the paperwork for that one
Oh.
too, for that, but, you know, this one in sense, like I said, we'll make it look nice, and, I don't feel too concerned with the council, cause we've already, I know Robert basically has talked to him, I talked to a couple people, it's just, you know, we'll class it up a little bit, some ornament on it, but, you know,
Yeah.
I appreciate it, anything you guys can do.
Yeah, and like I said, I just continue on what I was saying. You know, the other thing about it, you're downtown, you're in the downtown area, but he's not like downtown where all the
Right.
buildings are. And his
Right.
building is about 200 foot off the
Exactly.
road.
that. Oh,
So
yeah, yeah, no.
it is entirely different there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I was gonna
think
say
you
the
can-
same thing.
So
As
what's
long
the
as it's
limit?
well done, which I think it is, has been
That's
done,
the downtown historic district.
that it can be, but it is not per our ordinance.
what?
It
Sorry?
goes
Right.
against our panel.
Right.
sign
Echo
ordinance.
that entirely. Ordinances, no, but
that's
You
the
know,
design
from a standpoint
That's
of
what Elijah
would I like the sign?
Angelo's in.
Yes.
Uh,
And I think it would look good
That's why
in our
the
downtown.
sign is not allowed.
Regardless of
in-
what the
in that
ordinance
area.
says.
That's what the ordinance
But-
says is,
Is that a
No-
slippery
no
slope
backlit-
because we tell other people they can't do? Then we're taking.
I mean, the building is historic,
Well,
but
that's-
it's not in a
That's what we
national
can do
historic
as
district.
historic preservation, is we can give guidelines.
Yeah.
And I think what the sign that he's proposing looks good.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing. I like our ordinance. I like that we haven't allowed a lot of the backlit that we haven't, because it would
we-
not have looked good.
We have, in researching this variance, just to let this board know, whether, past planners have actively, well, we've done a good job at enforcing no backlit or internally lit cabinet signs ever since that was adopted in
Yeah.
2017. There are only, I believe, five, where one of them does not have a permit, and staff is actively working to make sure that business gets their sign permit and goes through the proper processes that they should have been required to go through. But 4 existing non-conforming backlit cabinet signs downtown.
Ooh, please
Right.
tell, who is,
I'm not going to share that.
I know,
But having said
Record.
that, I do think that this one is appropriate for the reasons you've mentioned. I mean, it is historic, so we're putting it back, and I do remember this sign from when I was a kid. I mean, it was there, and it was lit. And I do think that because of their location being where it is, I also think that makes a difference. We did make some allowances for the Sugar Fire and whatever the steakhouse was that was there before that, 514, because of their location in their district and the fact that they weren't all the way downtown. So I do think that our ordinance is a good thing. I think it's helped us out a lot, but I also think we can make exceptions, so.
I mean, with today's technology, I'm assuming it's pretty easy. If that Magda Bella's lit up a little too bright, you could, no, oh, perfect.
and we'll do something, it shows white, I'll probably go with like a 3200 color, of more of a warm white.
Okay.
And
That's what I
just a
was gonna
regular-
ask
more
about.
warm white to kind of match with the yellow there. And then, it just needs to be, readable from a distance, it doesn't need to be,
Yeah.
Sure.
We won't, and with routed face, when they're routed face like that aluminum, nothing, the back doesn't shine up, just a copy. That is, we don't have to put as much lighting in it as well, so it can tone it down as well.
I know this is not my place, but if I'm remembering those gates right, they're kind of up the hill, and I heard you guys mention the post. Could
right
you
there off
cheat
the
it
road.
off of if we're looking at this picture, the post to the right, so it would be out more towards Front Street?
No, it's actually up, I mean, honestly.
Is it?
Not the best spot for a sign,
Yeah.
that's all they got. It's buried in those trees.
Right, I know that.
trees
So
are-
that's-
you can kinda
I know
see it
all
right
that's cut
here.
down, so if you put an arm out from the other post, it would hang out more towards Front Street, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but it'd be a lot smaller, and that's.
Okay, you
Now,
couldn't have the
if
same
we
size
had-
stuff.
If we kept it Elijah McLean's restaurant, we would just be putting that sign on a post.
Yeah.
Sorry, but it's just.
Well, I'm
that
just
Elijah-
thinking,
you know,
I'm
I
like,
get-
how could you get it, because I walk by there all the time, like, how could they get it even closer to the, yeah.
And the other thing with that is, I told them, don't touch it, you know, leave the post. I wouldn't leave the.
Oh, yeah,
gates.
they're
I wouldn't
cool.
weld the gates solid and mount on the gates with anything like that. which I was-
That would have been really cool.
But, I mean, it's one of those things, because they are cool, you know, the gates are original. And I'm still not giving up on that part yet, but, you know, then it would be, you know, really original. Because I don't know how far back that goes. I mean, I guess that was an entrance at one point in time.
Yeah, I think it was.
Yep.
That's gotta be
Yeah.
way back.
Well, I think I would echo Joe's sentiments about how even though the code says, hey, it doesn't fit in within the ordinance, I think it's tastefully done. You're not right on top of any residential spaces, so I don't think anything's going to be an issue there. And it does help with visibility. So I would, I guess, make a motion to approve a certificate of review. Just let them know that we talked about it, and then if we need to talk about it again after the variance meeting, I guess we can. So.
Yeah, I think dependent on, if the variance passes or not, if it passes, I think this review will be sufficient, but, if they have to revise their design, if the variance does not pass, I think, it would be good for this board to look at the sign again, so.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, guys.
Nice job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You.
Okay. Next discussion item, 310 Elm Street. We just have to approve it. Since we approved it by email, we're just putting it.
Correct,
Okay.
correct. Just for everyone's recollection, this is the Swallow's Nest edition, and you were, had to exempt because you worked on the project, so that's why that was done by email, so.
Yeah, so we don't need to do anything, and we're
Just,
just putting it on
just
record.
need to
just
make
put
a-
on the record, yep.
All right.
Exactly.
Next up, 419 Elm Street, Aaron Uffman and Colton Pierce.
Yes, we got Colton Pierce here, you're the property owner? I am the property owner. Correct, so go ahead and, I'll pull up your
Your
house
Colton?
here and.
Yes.
Okay.
Thanks for being here.
What's that?
Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having us. So I'm here to kind of represent 419 Elm Street and maybe a couple of the other properties in the historical district in the area. A couple of things I wanted to kind of bring to attention is some of the water runoff and I guess drainage issues in the area. I don't know if you guys are aware, but in the area kind of back between the houses there, between like Elm and Cedar, anytime we get like heavy rains, everything will kind of pool and like I know us at 419, the neighbors there at 417, both have like walk-up basement properties. And so we'll get probably, I think in some of the heavier rains, we've seen 4 or 6 inches of standing water in the back areas, and that'll of course run right down into the walk-ups. And so we've had flooding issues because of that, and also some drainage issues, just like I've got some pictures here I can share with you guys as well, just to kind of show what kind of happens in some of the heavy rains and different things. But we have issues with the drainage, even internally, right? So we've got like floor drains in our house in 419, and whenever everything kind of backs up, even the floor drains won't go out to the main. So just wanted to, I guess, see if there was anything we could do to try to resolve some of those issues. I think from talking to some of the neighbors, maybe at one point in time there was like a creek and maybe a pond that used to sit kind of between the properties where a lot of the houses were developed. So I think a lot of the water just naturally kind of tends to still funnel in that direction.
Yeah, I will raise these
Don't,
concerns to our city engineer, and let him know that, these are issues that you're having. He's good at dealing with those types of things. So we'll see. I'll address those concerns.
That's above
So,
our pay grade.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're,
And then the other thing, and I'm sorry Aaron's not here, Aaron's kind of been helping us try to go through and try to do some of the renovations and different things to the property. So I was just, you know, really coming to try to see what, what opportunities are out there in terms of, you know, trying to do restoration. One of the things we've kind of got into is because of some of the flooding, we do need to restore the foundation. It's limestone block, so one of the bigger ticket items really on our end is we're probably gonna have to lift the house and re-pour the entire foundation. So trying to go in and figure out what we need in terms of permitting and what else is available, if there's any kind of funding opportunities or what.
I mean, I don't know,
Yeah, we wouldn't, I mean, some of us might know, Bridget probably know more than anybody else.
Sure.
Or even Aaron might
Sure.
know, or somebody at the city, but, you know,
do we still have, and I
you know,
know,
we as a board don't say, hey, you can go this way and this way, but there's certainly avenues for you out there. I just don't know what they are personally.
there were some funds, I remember, we got a grant, I think in 2021 or 2022, to basically start sort of super low interest rate, short-term loans. I think that might have got all used up, but it was supposed to be like into perpetuity. As the loans were paid back, we could we're actually downtown Washington could do all this. So we really need Becky here. That's who we.
Becky might know some of that too, yeah.
So the person you need, I'm afraid, I'll give you her home address and phone
And
number.
Bridget, she's usually here, she's the head of the group here, and she's more familiar with, I think she's more familiar than the rest of the group with those kinds of things,
Do you remember those? Do you remember?
Yeah.
yeah.
It just depends on what, yeah, I mean, initially they were limited to,
It was like windows, doors, covering of the building, paint. I think gutters, we talked about once could slip in there. I don't know about foundation work. I will say, we also have an older home in downtown. We had to change some things to the foundation years ago, and we were able to keep a lot of the original limestones that had to kind of be where the part had to be destroyed. And the company that helps us with it actually like slabbed off the face of those and kind of made like a veneer that they then stuck on the concrete, and you can't even tell where, you know, where the old stops and the new begins. So I don't know if that's helpful or not, but yeah, I can't think of anything off the top of our head. So maybe what we can do is talk to Becky and Bridget and see if we can come back with any of those grant opportunities to help with that. So,
That'd be really appreciated.
Okay.
Just any information or whatever advice you guys could give.
and as far as like, as you go to work on it, appearance wise, or what we would have input on, I mean, would there be, this is something I actually have never dealt with in all the years on the commission as a foundation. So would we have any,
I mean, our comment would be try to keep it as original as you can, and it's an old stone foundation. How old's the house, do you know?
1904.
1904. Figured that was.
nice.
And I can't imagine the stones wouldn't be able to be salvageable for the most part, but I don't know the shape of the house, so
Right.
maybe they might be more water damage than I think, but,
Yeah,
I mean, there's a
one of the
couple of good tuck
concerns-
pointers in town, one that I can think of, so
Yeah.
he can help you with that
I mean,
too.
if
so.
it falls within your budget to do it, again, this is, Andrew is a guy, not a commission member. It's really nice to not have a leaky basement.
Yeah.
I think one of the things, like, the reason I guess we had came up to try to shore it up, because it's kind of sinking in the middle a little bit, where they had like the original like furnace and runs up through the fireplace on all the floors,
Yeah.
right? So that's kind of going in. I think they were worried that if we just tried to jack it up and tried to like rebrace and redo everything, that to be able to do that and to lift the house, that it would like compromise it. So they'd have to take out like some of the limestone blocks, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Did that, they were worried that it was kind of go.
I mean, I know people that have put piers in to shore up existing foundations. So, I mean, there's a bunch of different ways you can skin that cat. I don't know, Joe, that's probably your expertise.
I mean, I wouldn't do the shoring, but yeah, there's companies out there that can help you with that, you know,
Yeah, we had a couple.
helical piers and things like that, and,
EMH, I think, Expert House Movers, they'd come
Yeah.
out and kind of done an assessment. I mean, the biggest thing that I was kind of worried about is some of the water issues, right? Because it's like, almost like it sits in a bowl. Like, I've got even some footage from some of the last storms where we actually had like almost little fountains, like every little crack in like the floor was kind of like, you know, we'd have like
it's
little
hydrostatic
ridge
pressure.
water spouts, because there's so much pressure and so much water that would sit there whenever we had that,
We had, again, this is Andrew, just the guy, not a council member, but we bought our house in 2008, And we're the last house on kind of a long string of downhills. And so we had the same issue. I called it the weeping wall because it was a limestone foundation in the basement, and it was like a Daffy Duck cartoon where water would literally squirt out and you'd put your hand over it and then more would come out here. And so there really wasn't anything that, I mean, it was up to the neighbors for me to go like, hey, can we pretty please put a French drain in? But at the end of the day, that was up to us to figure out box drains and different things to catch all that water and, kick it out to the appropriate areas. So, but again, that was a long, long time ago.
And I'm wondering if we can do anything like that. That's why I wasn't sure. I know we're kind of like right against that empty lot there that technically belongs to the Purcell building.
Okay, yeah.
So like a lot of the water is just kind of running
From
down
that
there
park-
from
yeah.
Fifth Street, from like up at the gas station and then through that
Yeah.
lot. And then it all kind of, just kind of pools, yeah.
Well, it flows downhill,
Yeah.
That's what water does.
So,
We appreciate you
Oh my
looking
gosh,
into
yeah.
these restoration things, and hopefully you can pull them all off. Jacking the house up sounds pretty severe. I mean, it sounds really invasive. That you'd have to jack the whole house up to fix it.
yeah, and then, and even just the runoff issues,
Yeah.
like I didn't know if we go in and we do that and we're gonna do all this other work, is there any way to put something in to redirect that back, maybe into the storm drains or
Yeah.
what we can do there to fix it long term, instead of just kind of pushing it downhill?
Yeah, and that
I
would,
mean, I'm
that-
sure the city will help you if they can. I mean,
Yep.
they're very helpful.
I'll
about-
get you our city engineer's contact information, and I'm sure this is something that he can assist you with in your
Yeah.
rehab process, so.
Yeah.
And then how will we get Bridget and,
Yeah, Becky, information on that
Information.
grant and those mini loans.
do you have
We
his
have-
information?
You have your info?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got Aaron's info. I don't have your info, but yeah, sure. So I'll get it from Aaron. So.
Okay, good.
You'll handle that, getting
Yep.
them?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Awesome.
Okay, great.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming.
Thanks for coming. Okay, next up, historic preservation ordinance. Oh, wow.
Yes. Howdy.
Sync them up?
Howdy. So essentially, last month, I kind of threw out a general statement. Come back with any ideas, to help improve our ordinance. But I kind of got busy with this whole Board of Adjustment thing. We have 6 variances coming up for our next Board of Adjustment meeting, which Gina said is the most ever that she's seen in her 15 years at the City of Washington. So I've been pretty busy with that. So I didn't come up with
Just really quick, Aaron, all different things or
all different
signage?
things.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's what I've been occupied with. So I don't have anything for the ordinance specifically, but what we talked about was kind of cleaning up the design review area, and this was at last month's meeting. We talked about cleaning up the design review area and the historic districts, because there are technically different types of review that are needed. So like for in historic districts, this board is only required to review new construction and demolition, whereas in other, the design review area, we're required to review windows, doors, roofs, painting, any sort of exterior modification. And so I've kind of presented. So this is our current design review area with the various historic districts highlighted, the kind of black boundary. I have a better map. Let's see here.
We're just going to match geographies, right?
Yeah, we're going to match geographies. Here we go. Here's our current design review area, and
The red line?
then
The red line.
Okay.
here is the new design review area. So the new design review area just pretty much follows the border of the Stafford Olive Historic District and the Locust Street Historic District. There's a couple properties. Let's see, will this work? No, it won't work. Well, I'll just use my mouse. So there's a couple properties in here that weren't included in the Stafford and Olive Historic District. A couple along 5th Street here, and then a couple along, I don't know what street this is, there it turns down here. There's a, let's look that up. That's where those townhomes are. It is,
Oh, Second and,
how do you say this?
Dubois,
Dubois?
yeah.
Dubois Street. So there's the townhomes in here, and then these 3 homes are not in a historic district, so they would be subject to review that they weren't previously. And then these properties here are from, I think this building to on West Fifth that are currently not subject to any sort of review would now be subject to the design review area requirements. So any sort of sign that those properties would put up,
Yeah.
subject to your review.
I like,
So
so you just need a motion, because I think that makes a ton of sense, and it makes it,
Can we slow down?
sure, yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Zoom out for a
Yes,
second. I
yes.
want to see this.
Want me to pull
Because
this
you had the
back
two
up?
maps next to each other. What was the one on the right?
The one on the right.
Yeah, what is the one on the right
the
show?
right would be what we're proposing.
That's the proposed one. Oh, and the other thing that I forgot to
don't see the-
mention is,
Oh,
The
there.
one on
Oh,
the
now I
right,
can see it.
Joe.
I was looking at the wrong one. Okay, now I can see it.
To the
Okay,
right,
all
we
right.
would put in all of this historic district would be in the same review district. Right now, it's kind of a hodgepodge of who's got to do what, because of the 2 different boundaries.
yeah.
And what do we, so we review now the red line, we actually review the red line.
We review yes, correct.
And
We
the red line we review.
correct.
We're going to
But
change it to the black line, which includes all the residential. and
Correct.
some of the miscellaneous things you're talking about.
correct. But just to note, you still do review all new construction and demolition in the historic districts as well, currently.
And will the design review area for the houses be the same stuff we're reviewing for the residential, be the same as we're reviewing for commercial? It's the same review process?
Yeah, correct.
Whereas now it's not, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Depending on which side of the red line you're on.
Correct. Yeah, there's still some residential, that we do, subject to the same. For example, 419 Elm, that is within our current design review area, and that would be subject to, the same review that, any sort of business downtown would be. So, it's just cleaning things up, making things a bit more consistent. This would not be, this would have to go before Planning Commission and City Council. I also, before we institute this change, I was planning on sending out letters to property owners, just letting them know that, hey, this is, it's not going to be a huge change, but there might be some additional review, and have, the opportunity for property owners to come and meet with this board, if this was something that the board would be interested in.
It's still mandatory review, voluntary compliance.
Correct.
So at this point, they wouldn't be required to do anything other than show up here.
Correct. Absolutely.
For anything other than interior modifications, for anything on the outside they're doing to their house.
Correct. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Because of that, the.
I think that's a good start, yeah.
Locust Street District, if you live on the western, whatever quarter, you've got to, everything's got to be reviewed. If you're on the eastern
Yeah, that
three-quarter,
line is just very arbitrary. It was just kind of drawn. And
it's only new construction.
another thing to note is the design review area has not been modified since 2006. So this would be the first time in 20 years that we're taking a look at changing it. Only adding a couple of properties here that have not been subject to review. And one more thing to note is that we would also add the John Bush, the brewery down there, and the VFW hall. They would be added to the design review area, and also the Brehe Farmstead. It's just one little property out here at Bluff Road and Highway 100.
Right.
Those, it's what? Bray. Thank you, Mayor. The Bray Historic District. So, yeah.
Should we still distinguish the two areas because we might eventually have different restrictions on each?
Well, they'd still be differentiated.
I guess what
In other words,
do
the
you
black
mean?
from the-
They're
black from the
different.
red. I don't know. I guess for residential, I'm just coming to mind.
Sure.
There's there's nothing for, we don't care about signage for residential, things
Sure.
like that.
But right now, so if you, the red is where we're at now. If I live east of the red line and I want to paint my house pink, even though I'm in a historic district, they don't have to come here and review any of that.
That's absolutely correct.
So, but if they live on the, again, the western quartile of that line, they got to come and do normal review stuff. So, you know, I think Aaron mentioned that it just makes sense to, for everybody in the historic district to have the same, you know, standards. So snapping that red line out to make it look like it is on the right, I don't know, I just thought it kind of common sense.
Yeah, it's already mixed residential and commercial, and there's
Yeah,
different.
so really nothing changes a whole lot for us other than we're actually protecting an entire historic district instead of a.
Two entire historic districts.
So if somebody's,
yeah.
if
Well,
somebody's,
4 really.
if somebody's replacing siding,
Correct.
they come here. If they're putting in new windows, they come
Correct.
here. They putting a new garage on.
Correct. If they were putting a new garage in, they would come in regardless.
Regardless,
Like
okay.
that last month, 306 Locust, they are out of the design review area, but they came in, you know, because they're
gotcha.
in the Locust Street Historic District, and any sort of new structure construction is required to review, even if you're in a historic district. So it would just be that exterior modification piece that would be new to these the homes that are in the historic district, and these little, you know, blips down here. So
Yeah, it's fantastic. I mean, this is how you keep your districts, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, and we're still pretty
Doesn't give
lax
us
compared
the-
to a lot of
the
cities,
control-
but
Control that we may want eventually, just from a standpoint of, you know, being able to say, hey, you can't paint it this color, but at least it's a start.
sure,
And
sure, I agree. I
Educating
agree.
people, which is kind of where we started this thing. Let's educate people first and then worry about kind of changing some rules eventually, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know if I included this letter in the packet or not. I'm unsure, but anyhow, this is just something I typed up. It doesn't have to be at next month's historic preservation meeting if we want to, you know, push it off to June, or, you know, because we have some members out, you know, to kind of get everyone on the same page here. But this is just a letter I typed up, you know, to send to property owners, letting them know about, you know, what the design review area is, why you're being included. So whatever this board wants to, you know, have a public meeting is pretty much when we'll send this out.
So what are we looking at for here as
I know,
far
do
as
you need a motion
as
to
far
take
as
it to the?
There's
planning and
there's
zoning?
no formal. Well, I would like for this board to hold kind of a. It's not really a pub. There's no formal process for doing this, but I think it would be good to have kind of a meeting of, you know, the Historic Preservation Commission to the public, you know, property owners who are being included in the design review area, so they can learn about, you know, what this board does and what they're being subject to review for and whatnot.
I'm sure it would likely
So,
be well attended, so we should do that.
sure.
People,
So we're not
people get
changing this
concerned
yet?
when you-
I
You
would
will after
like
that meeting?
correct.
if
Correct.
everything
I would
goes
like
well.
I would like to, you know, kind of inform the public about, you know, what the change that we're making before we, you know, make that change. Yeah. So after you know, next month or when the timeline is, you know, whenever you folks want to set up the meeting, then I will send this letter, or, you know, I'll look at it and edit it a bit, send that letter out to property owners who will be included in the design review area, saying, hey, this is the meeting date. And then at that meeting date, you know, we'll have members of the public, you know, ask questions that they may have, and you folks and I will do my best to inform them.
Isn't May 9th a Saturday, though?
Yeah, I might have the date wrong. May 11th.
Nobody's there.
Okay. I'll change that date. But anywho, after we're done kind of hearing from the public, I think then we can recommend it to go to planning and zoning, and that, you know, whatever the May or June P and Z, then they'll recommend it to council, and then I think that needs a public hearing for council to change that. So
I bet there's a lot of people in the historic district that thinks that that's the way it is now, that they'll.
I've gotten calls from property owners. I got a call from a property owner who was had some questions about her roof and replacing that, and I got a little bit confused myself. So because she was pretty close to the boundary. So yes.
So do we need them? I think we're all, is everybody on board with
I
this
just had one
change?
question.
Sure, yeah.
I mean, I'm on board, but Do you think this is this information could be put out in the community through the Current that we get in the mail? Like some of this information?
Sure, yeah.
I just
can-
thought of that. I mean,
Yeah.
everyone gets the Current, right? If you live in the
Is that the
city
quarterly thing? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean.
When's the next one?
happen.
Do you know
I
when
was
the
just
next
gonna
one comes out?
say, I don't think it would show, because that's quarterly.
It's quarterly.
That's what, I
yeah.
don't know if there's time.
Yeah, they wouldn't get it till June. Well, I guess if we shifted the meeting until June, then we could, well, but then I don't even know when it comes out.
I'm just thinking of ways to
isn't
kind
May
of
a little-
alert people that, oh, this is something.
That's what I was thinking, May,
you know.
Isn't May a little close anyway? People won't get their letters for a week or two anyway, right? Or is that
if we're
okay?
lucky.
They usually get out pretty quickly when we send them for public notices, so
Okay.
it's,
Just a
it's
thought.
frankly, it's whatever this board
big
thinks,
deal.
May or June. I could,
If it worked,
I
if
have
if
no
it's
stake.
not too quick for you, I'd say, why not May?
I'm indifferent. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. that's
okay,
fine. Yeah.
all right.
And I think we're all.
May
in
11th,
agreement
May
here,
11th
at
it
least
is
on
then.
this
I'll
board,
send
so
out
it's-
letters
Okay.
in the next week here, and you know, we'll inform the other board members and have a lively May meeting. So
How, I mean, how much time do we have for that meeting? Will we still limit it? I mean, if there's a big discussion going on, is there a meeting right after us on May 11th as well?
there will be. I mean, depending. I guess I'll just see how much feedback I get.
Yeah.
You know, and if there is, if I'm getting a lot of calls, then we'll push it back to 5 or maybe even 4:30. You know.
Okay.
So, but there is planning commission
Okay.
after. So, correct. But okay, thank you.
All right. Staff reports?
Yes, this is another thing that I've been working on, and so from now on, whenever you folks get a design review, I've kind of prepared a staff report template. So this is something that is standard for all the variances and planning items that go to planning and zoning, plats, various things. This is the only board that I don't prepare a staff report for. And so I thought it would be good to, get in the practice of kind of setting some quantitative boundaries for this, even though, this board is kind of, it's about design review and it's sort of subjective, but I think it would be good as staff to kind of give my input on various things as they relate to our design review guidelines. So that being said, I'm just going to walk through the staff report real quick. So you've got who the applicant is, their location, the meeting date, brief summary of what it's doing, area of interest. So we were just talking about the area of interest. So mark down the specific area of interest. The architectural style that either the existing building or maybe I think I'll add a category in here that just says current or like modern, or present day or something like that. If it's a new construction. I've also found our a series of Sanborn maps. Do you all know what Sanborn maps are? Awesome. So I'm gonna try and like show what was there in 1913 or whatever. And bring up the relevant Sanborn map. Going to try to provide some history on the case from a planning perspective and also from a history perspective. Talk about the project specifically, what area they're in, history of the building, and the relevant design guidelines. And then this table will break down specific parts of the design guidelines and how they are relevant to the specific case. So, for example, the last sign that we heard, Mangiabella, we would have a sign that says, utilizing existing signage, meets guidelines, yes, comments, using existing historic sign, 5.411, backlit signs, don't use signs that are not historically accurate. Does it meet guidelines? No. Here are the comments. And then give it a rating. Given the above analysis, project has met 4 out of 10 qualifications. So just something I want to start doing to kind of inform the Historic Preservation Board, as we try to move forward and, add some more information for this board to have. So
Be
Fantastic.
helpful, sir, Sharon.
It's a lot of work for you, but
I know.
it's fantastic. Yeah.
sure, that's my goal is to do all this. So we'll we'll try it out for the next meeting and see how it goes. So,
Perfect. You get a 10 out of 10, Aaron.
great. Well, thank you.
Okay, discussion item. What's this one? I don't know. What
I guess this was just to let you know I communicated with Marlon the other day, and she's unable to attend the forum. So I guess if this was to see if anyone else was interested in going.
What were the dates on it again? Do you remember?
Oh, I don't remember.
Well, I know it's the end of July, and that's when my daughter-in-law's expecting. So I have been quarantined.
Lousy grandkids.
In Missouri.
It's an out-of-town thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's in Minneapolis.
Do you have the exact dates?
July 22nd through 26th.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be gone.
Oh, gosh.
So,
Yeah, that might be a little hard for me.
but,
I assume that's during the week.
yeah, it is. So. And if no one else can go, I'll have a fun solo trip. So.
No question, it'd be more fun than work. But it just doesn't pay me anything.
Yeah, true. Yep.
Okay.
Okay, well, anyhow.
Discussion item, the Calvin is, do we have discussion on this?
This
We
is
talked
just,
about it last
you
month.
you
Yeah, I
mentioned
threw that out
last
there
month.
time just because I feel like it was something that was sort of a passion project for us 7, 8 years ago, and it just kind of fell by the wayside. So really just curiosity. I don't know if anybody knows anything about, if there's anything we can do to help that poor building, but
I mean, frankly, I don't know the story. I don't know if that's something that we should, is that something to discuss at this meeting, or maybe afterwards, or?
maybe afterwards. I know at one
Okay.
point, Carolyn was pursuing, I don't remember the exact terminology, but sort of like an abandoned building clause that says you've got a historic building, neglect, I think was in the title of it. Is there anything the city could do, or this organization or downtown could do to basically reclaim that building, so that it doesn't just
Sure.
die of apathy?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I don't know the history about who, is it somebody local that owns it or not?
I think so. Last I heard it was a father and son that owned it together.
You own it?
Mr. Mayor.
Okay.
At one point, the roof had collapsed in. Yeah.
But they've replaced the roof. It's kind of in a holding pattern right now. I think the first step, and this group should be a part of that, is what are we gonna do with it?
Yeah.
Because it's gonna take
A lot.
millions and millions of dollars to bring it back to even close to its former glory. Believe me when I say, folks, I'd like nothing better than to make that happen. But how do we do that? Friends of the Calvin Theater, I am open to suggestions.
Yeah.
It ain't gonna be easy.
I know the sign is somewhere. Rick said the sign is over in the,
Last I heard,
Yeah.
Andy Understall has it.
by the park.
Yep.
Oh,
Well,
so
it took it down, yeah.
It is in possession in the
Yes.
community?
It is.
I always wondered
The sign
about
is,
that.
yeah, the bill.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's good to know.
We've had a lot of discussions, not recently, but at Historic Washington Foundation meetings about this. So that's something that, if this committee,
Well, maybe we could partner
that's
with
another,
them
yeah, exactly.
because I think it'd be fantastic. So,
I think we all agree
all
on
right,
that.
thank you very, very much, Mr. Mayor.
Let's keep it on there, right?
Yeah.
And it can just be this. I think
Yeah.
it's, we kind of let the spark fade a little bit, and let's just blow on it. See if we
Yeah.
can start a Friends of the Calvin fire.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I'll do some research and see what I can find. So.
Thank you.
There was are you familiar with the project in Cape Girardeau that was the same thing, an old theater like this? And fortunately, they had an owner that kind of wanted to do something with it, but he repurposed it in kind of a creative, good way, but it wasn't a theater. So it was partial residential, partial commercial, but not a theater anymore, because it's hard to make the dollars work to turn it into an actual theater in a downtown area. It's hard enough to make a theater work at, in general, just because, people just go less and less, but, maybe that's an option. But you have to have somebody that's committed to signing off some of those dollars, and in order to make those dollars work, it has to make sense financially, so.
And I think
You have
that's
to be
why.
you have to be open too, and the Main Street director there at the time gave a presentation. Liz, do you know Liz? Did you guys know Liz? Anyway, she gave a presentation. It was really good, and they had the guy there, and he had talked about it, but it was a pretty interesting presentation on how they salvage this thing. Now, the sad part about it is during this process, the front facade of the building burned, and they weren't able to salvage those bricks, but they just rehabbed it and painted it. But that was kind of a sad part about it, but it was really cool the way it turned out. It turned out really nice. But it's not a theater anymore. It's a combination of residential and
I
commercial.
think that's an excellent,
So,
I mean, I'm not saying it has to be a theater,
And I-
but just,
right.
yeah, and frankly, I've been to the Calvin Theater, but it was a long, long time ago, and I don't recall a lot of the details walking through it, so.
cool place.
Of how it is, so. Well, it's too bad that it's kind of fallen in disrepair, so.
it's really a crime, in my opinion.
Is the water not getting
And
in
allowed to.
anymore, at least? Okay, well, that's a good thing. Okay,
Yeah, that's
Okay.
good.
yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, old business, potential grants, we kind of already talked about that.
Yeah. I guess just to update you on the design guidelines that we applied for grants for, the Missouri State Historic Preservation Office, they have not gotten back to me with comments on our pre-application. They said they received a large number of applications, the most ever. So I don't know if that really bodes well for our chances of getting funded per se, but good for them, I suppose. But as of now, I still have not heard back from them. Bridget and I have been meeting with various consultants over Zoom, and it seems our price range is pretty spot on. So that $100,000 seems to be a pretty good number in terms of the cost of those design guidelines. So we're good on that front. So that's all the news I have for grants. We got to get that in by the end of May. So
Okay.
I will keep working towards that.
Thank you.
Education conferences, we already talked about that, if anybody can make the Minneapolis one in place of Marlin,
Yeah,
nice.
I wish I could go. 'Cause I have a son that lives up there, so I was gonna make that a
Yeah.
perfect trip.
And,
Would've been good.
yeah,
Tell him to work on a grandbaby, and then you could justify one for the other.
so curb appeal, we
Looking
gave
for
some away.
nominations,
Are we
basically.
looking for more too? Because I do have one idea, so.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, I'll bring,
Just send it to me.
I'll
I'm
bring
working
that, I'll bring that in next week.
on the other Locust
Next
Street
month.
that I talked to last year. I went and talked to the husband, and he's like, I think I want to do it, but let me talk to my wife.
Yeah.
So I saw him again, actually, at the grocery store, and he's like, I think we want to do it. So I was like,
That's good.
Okay.
Yeah. I know the
It's
one,
not a big commitment.
I know the one I have would be interested, and they've done a lot of good things to the property. Awesome. Really looks good.
Cool.
great.
So, creating new history awards, any,
I think last time we
Same thing, if
mentioned
we have any
One East
ideas.
Main Street, now that the building's all done. So, I mean, I selfishly think that's a great idea. but,
It is a
perhaps
lovely
abstain
building.
from
It is a
you
lovely
can't
building.
vote. You
Oh, yeah,
can't-
I-
yeah,
I-
you
I
have to
abstain.
abstain, no.
No, I can't imagine anything right now more appropriate than that building.
Yeah, no,
probably.
that's
Yeah.
great,
So,
yeah.
okay.
Historic district signage, I keep talking about that, but I just haven't had the time to get to it. I think the historic district signage will help too in marking the historic areas, so people will realize when they
Yes.
are in
Very
an
true.
historic district, if they don't already.
Yeah.
Because I imagine most people realize they're in a historic district, but there's probably a lot of them
But a
that
lot
don't.
don't, yeah.
Oh, well, I mean, if you look at the maps with the guideline districts and the historic districts, you know, I bet there's some people that don't know or might be confused. So, and I think it's a point of pride too. Like, I think
Well,
it's great
sure,
to know that.
yeah.
I think maybe something that, I don't know if this commission has explored this before, is, but maybe some signage for some of our more residential historic districts.
That's
might
what
be
we're
something
talking
to
about.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
We're talking, well, all of them, but what do we have? 3 residential ones?
Like Locust.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
3 residentials and then the main street or the downtown. The Bush, I mean, you might as well do all of them as
Sure,
as
yeah,
you're doing it.
yeah.
And then there's also the one
Bray?
by the Oh, that's that one. Yeah, that's the one out on Bluff Road,
Oh,
right.
yeah.
Yeah, so that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them,
Six.
right?
Yep.
Okay.
How did that one little, and this can be off the record, but I'm really curious how that little island of no historic districts got put right in the middle of 2 historic.
Frankly, that's probably a question for Darren. I don't know the history of those specific properties, and because, well, here's what I will say is
Probably
that
specific to when that were built.
the townhomes here, those are
Relatively new.
relatively new, but these homes were all built in the early 1900s. So I don't know the history. And same for these properties along here. Most of these were built in the early 1900s as well. So I don't know the history. So
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, so we've been talking about it for months. I just haven't. I was gonna spearhead it and I haven't yet, so, but that will kind of help some other things we're doing too, because it's like I said, people will know, hey, I'm interested, they'll make them a little bit more aware. I would say most people in town don't even know about it,
I think you're
except the people that might live downtown, and even a lot of those don't know, so.
Exactly.
It'll kind of a sense of pride for the whole, for the whole town, so. Does anybody have anything else?
I guess just one more thing I didn't mention or put on the agenda yet, but tonight and next week, Dale Greifey is coming into the Planning Commission and the Board of Adjustment for planning approval for the bowling alley. He's proposing to build downtown at the corner of Main and Jefferson Streets. So I don't think he's quite ready for design review yet, but just know that is moving forward, and he's asking for planning approval and a variance for his parking that is required. So that's moving forward.
Good
So
news.
Could it
Lots of
make
variances
sense
means there's lots of stuff going on, so that's a good,
That
not
is a good
necessarily a
thing.
bad thing. So,
Since that's happening, Aaron, do you think it could make sense, or do any of us need to stay for that tonight, or will?
I mean, frankly, if you want to comment on it, you're more than welcome to. You don't have to, but if you feel passionate about it, it wouldn't hurt.
All right.
Yeah.
I don't know if I feel passionate.
Okay. Yeah.
these meetings are getting longer and longer.
I know. I'll shut up, Joe, I'm sorry.
Ever since Aaron came. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh goodness.
It's a good thing.
No, we've had a lot of, that's a good thing. That means a lot's happening in the town. And when I started this 3 years ago or whenever it was, sometimes we were
meetings are
lucky to
like-
even have one, and now it's like 2, 3, sometimes 4 or 5. A couple months ago was 6 or something like that, so it's good for the town. So anyway, if no other
I think the mayor has
comments?
a comment.
Mr. Mayor. Pardon me? Yeah,
Doug, do you
Sure can.
come up?
As we just finished a big push to pass two really important tax issues and got it done. I met with, and so did everybody on the committee, and one of the things that I heard and have heard since I've been elected is we are growing too fast, and we're not. We're growing at about 2 to 3%. Right now, we're having a housing shortage, but our 3 big builders in town, they're starting to address that. And what people see is our roads are crowded. And we're starting to address that. We're trying to keep out ahead of it. 5th Street and Highway 100, well, that's a problem. So is Rabbit Trail and 100. High Street is, and 100 is a problem intersection. But we're taking steps to try and fix those. And what I tell folks is when they say we're growing too fast, I'd say, no, we need to keep our roads. We need to keep growing. And I need you guys to know that I am very strong and tell them that as long as we take care of our downtown area, we're going to be okay. And they say, oh, okay. So thank you for the job you do, because, there's nobody here. But it's important. It is. So,
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you.
thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate it.
There we go.
Truly.
Okay, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Yes. I'll make a
Second?
motion.
Second?
See you next month.
Thanks.